Well, hey, welcome back to the studio. It amazes me still how many artists are currently putting out their new albums on physical media, whether it's vinyl records or CDs or cassettes. It seems like the younger generation is really embracing having physical media, and I think that's great. So I figured today we'd take a look at a brand new portable unit. Wouldn't really call it a boombox, more of a portable CD player, cassette recorder, radio unit that's available on Amazon, and see if it's any good, because this younger generation who's getting into that physical media, they need something to play it on. So let's see if this one is worth it. Stay tuned. Now, I thought this one was particularly interesting because, at least on the box anyway, the style kind of reminds me of some of the old Sony and Panasonic models from the past, and those were pretty good. Now, the weight in the box actually is pretty substantial, so it doesn't feel like it's going to be something super cheap. But the other thing that I thought was pretty intriguing was that on the box it says it does CD playback, tape playback, of course, AM/FM radio, USB player, has auxiliary input, Bluetooth, has an earphone jack, runs on batteries or AC power, and it says that it's a cassette recorder. So I'm hoping that this will be kind of an all-in-one unit that somebody that's just getting into physical media, or even, you know, somebody with some experience with it like me, could use to sit it on their desk or their nightstand or their end table and use it to play music around the house. So let's dig into the box and see what we have. Now, I'm pretty excited to get into this thing. I mean, the price on Amazon, it's not the cheapest one in the world, but it's also not the most expensive one. So it kind of falls right in that middle ground where I think a lot of people will be able to afford it, you know, and I'm just hoping that it's a really, really nice unit, something that we can get excited about, and something that, you know, kind of lives up to our standards. All right, so it looks like getting right into the box here. We've got a user's manual. And well, it looks like it may have a remote control, possibly. Okay. Pretty decent manual. Looks like pretty full featured. Tells you about all the different operation modes. See if there's any decent specs in here. I don't see any. Frequency range, AM/FM, Bluetooth 5.1, so it's a relatively modern system there. I don't see anything about wow and flutter or frequency range or anything on the cassette deck. We'll put that to the side. Looks like we've got a quick start guide here. Yeah, it looks like all the main operational things in color. Pretty nice. Tells you how to play a CD, Bluetooth, USB, auxiliary mode, FM/AM. So yeah, that's pretty nice. 12-month warranty, which is good. I mean, a lot of stuff out there now has, what, 30 days? Yeah, it tells you how to power it on, how to put batteries in it. So, yeah, pretty nice. I mean, they've done a pretty good job here, I think, with the instructions. They don't just give you the unit and say, good luck. And there's a thank you for your purchase from Greadio. All right, there's our remote control. I don't remember the listing saying it had a remote. Maybe I just overlooked that, but looks like a decent little remote. Takes takes two AAA batteries. All right, very nice. That's kind of handy. And we got our cables here. A US power plug. Kind of a standard power adapter there. And looks like it gives us an auxiliary cord too. So if you have something you want to plug into there. All right, let's get the unit out of the box. All right. So a little bit smaller than I anticipated, but not terrible. It's still a decent size. Still has a nice weight to it. Nice smooth eject on the compact disc. Yeah, it's got a dampened door on the cassette deck as well, so that's kind of nice. Let's kind of look over what we have here. Looks like on the front, on the top, we've got our cassette controls. It does have fast forward, rewind, so it's not one of those ultra cheap mechanisms. It does have the record functionality. Looks like our function indicator, our function selector, volume, CD player controls, the display, the cassette, 2 speakers, and we're going to double check and make sure that that is stereo. And we'll take a look inside that cassette deck too. I want to make sure that it's a stereo head in that. On this other side here, looks like we've got our tuning for the AM/FM radio, and that feels nice. It's got a nice kind of a weighted, dampened feel to it. Not real cheap. I like that. Headphones, auxiliary input, our USB, and our aerial for the AM/FM radio. And then power goes on the back. Looks like batteries on the bottom. And I think it said it takes C cells. Yeah, 2, 4, 6 C cell batteries. So I would imagine this thing would run for quite a while on those. Rubber feet on the bottom. Yeah, this is pretty nice. Let's take a look a little bit closer on the insides of this. So starting off with the functions on this, if we go to functions and we go to Bluetooth, there we go. It was actually really easy to pair with my phone. Gives you a tone when it's paired, and it sounds pretty good. I mean, it's a nice sounding little radio. It is pretty full sounding for its size. The Bluetooth is stereo. I can tell listening to that there's separation in the channels, so that is stereo there. I did verify the head in here in the cassette deck. It is a stereo head in this. Let's go ahead and try the CD player. Now, the small display on this, I don't expect it to have CD text or anything like that. Let's go to the CD function here. There we go. Now it does tell us how many tracks there are, and then starts playing right away. Obviously that is in stereo too. Pretty nice. All right, let's try out the cassette deck here. Yeah, I've got just a little bit of YouTube audio library on here. So let's go function to tape. And we'll play this through. From what I could tell already, it didn't sound bad. And that is stereo as well. I can hear the separation in the channels. That doesn't sound bad at all. I mean, a lot of these, you know, modern cassette decks have horrendous wow and flutter, and the sound quality is terrible. This actually sounds really, really good. Let's put in a blank tape here. Now I'm going to purposefully use one that I actually have something recorded on, and the reason why is it looks like this has a permanent erase magnet that swings in rather than an actual electromagnet kind of erase head on the recording. So I want to see what kind of difference that makes in the quality. So if we record from CD to tape, I would assume that we need to go back to CD. Let that load up. Let's pick something that's a little bit more dynamic. Or that, turn that down a little bit. Let that record for a few seconds and see what it sounds like. Now, I did not use a blank tape. This had something on it before from a previous video, so we'll see if it erased that, well enough when it recorded the new music. All right, so let's go back to tape. We'll rewind that and see what we got. It did record in stereo. That's not terrible for being a permanent erase magnet in there instead of a proper head. So actually pretty impressed. I don't know that somebody would use this all the time as their main recording unit, but if they did record on it, it sounds like it's going to do a pretty decent job. Radio works well, Bluetooth works well. You can record from the Bluetooth to the cassette, so that might be something neat for people wanting to play around with it. But overall, it seems like a really, really nice cassette deck, especially for the money. So my overall impression of this unit, I actually like it. I think it's well built for its price. Now, it's not like one of those cheap and nasty things that you see out there on Amazon and eBay all the time. Now, obviously, it's not an audiophile piece of equipment either, and I'm sure the audiophiles could pick it apart. But for someone who's wanting to play their physical media and wants to buy brand new so they can avoid having to service something that's vintage right off the bat, I think this is a pretty good solution to that. It's portable, it's got a handle so you can carry it around, runs off of C-cell batteries, plugs into mains power, does everything you'd want it to do, so it's something you could sit on your desk or on your nightstand. I think it's a pretty nice little piece of equipment. Now, if you're interested in learning more about it, I'll drop a link down in the description below. But that's all I have for this week here at the studio. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to leave those down below. I enjoy speaking to each and every one of you down there. I think we've got a pretty good community here at the studio. Well, that's it for this week. Next week, stay tuned for something new. We'll see you then. Happy listening.